Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and shall we see what's going on a very rainy island of Fawnhollow today? And it's happened. It's happened in Vitalis Principle. I'm sorry to say, but I've got stuck on a puzzle. Or, well, I did get stuck on a puzzle. And I've solved it now, so don't you worry. If you're eagerly anticipating episode, I don't even know what episode it is because I have not named it yet. Hold on. I shouldn't be doing this right now in the middle of an Animal Crossing video, but here we go. It's episode 7 to 8. If that's what you're waiting for. I got stuck on a puzzle at the end of episode 7, and then it took me a bit of a ways into episode 8 to actually solve it. There we go, and just renaming it now for myself. But hello everyone, right now on Fawnhallow, it's 3:35 PM on Tuesday, August 24, 2021. Nothing to speak of today, so we'll go about usual business. You know, I was waiting for this day, and I'm sorry, and I'd like to apologise to everyone who's been counting on me and the Vitalis Principle to just flawlessly do every single puzzle, and you know, in about 3 weeks' time, you'll see exactly that pan out. Up until then, so you know, enjoy it while it lasts, I suppose. But yeah, no, that's just sort of me just trying to be like, oh, you know what, dear Canopy. Oh yeah, we've seen this one definitely before. It was just me talking, just wanting to be like, hey, I recorded a bit of Vitalis Principle today. You know, it's a bit of a notable moment because this is the first time I've had a puzzle in the game where I was like, you know what, I'm well and truly stuck. And then, you know, I was like, I kept at it a bit too long because I was like, you know, I want to finish it before the end of the episode, and I didn't finish it when I came back to it. Spent a few more minutes on it. It was like still like, don't know. Did the next puzzle, and it gave me an idea for the previous puzzle. I went back, did it immediately. And that ain't just the life of puzzle gamers. Then what is? I don't know why I'm speaking like. It's like all the puzzle gamers in the audience. Can I get a heck yeah? Everyone just goes woo. And I was like, I said a heck yeah, not a woo. And they go heck yeah. Some sort of weird, like, I don't know, pantomime. I suppose it's meant to be more like a comedy act, except for it's not very funny. I guess is the major problem with that, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, what else have I been up to today? Been doing a bit of programming, as per usual, you know, and played a couple of my games. What are we doing? Fishing bugs, change, customize, hot item. A bit of a weird combination, okay. Fishing bugs first, I suppose. Been doing a bit of programming, refreshing my SQL knowledge because it's been a little bit of time since I've really delved much into it, and you'll be happy to know it's still there in my brain, as opposed to not being there. Apart from that, yeah, I just did some of my dailies and some of my games. That's about it. Nothing really all that exciting, I suppose. Has I've really been going. Whoa, Phoebe. I knew you lived in like a lava pit. I didn't literally realise the main component of your entire housing interior decoration is this giant lava pit. Got a groove going. It's starting to rock, Sparky. And you sleep on like a camper bed. You're literally camping in the underworld in the magma wasteland. That's hardcore. That's what I gotta say. Also probably like dangerous. You know. Why do you need a campfire in like a lava underground area? I think it's bright enough in here already. You've got constant light 24/7. You have wooden furniture down here. This is gonna burn. You're sleeping on top of a lava dip. Phoebe, you are crazy. You are insane. Obviously not real lava. Not real magma. Real magma, real lava, but considerably hotter. I don't know if you... Well, you can probably get somewhat close to it without it being too dangerous. Oh, is there going to be a rainbow? Oh, no, it's a bit cloudy. Without it probably being too deleterious. I can't say I haven't seen lava or magma in real life, to be honest. Have I seen a volcano up close? No. Would I like to? You know what? Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool. Oh, we need to make a new axe. I didn't realise this. We'll do that when we go change our clothes, I suppose. I would like to go, maybe not an active volcano, but it'd be cool to see like a magma pit or something. Maybe not like go directly up to it. That seems a little bit precarious, a bit dangerous. And I'd be like, you know, even though I know I'm perfectly safe and I've walked completely fine, especially next to equally dangerous things, I'd be like, what if I just like, you know, slipped? I fell into a lava pit. It would be incredibly painful, certainly, so let's hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much volcanic activity over here in the UK, so my experience with volcanoes is rather limited, probably due to the fact the UK doesn't particularly lie near much of a tectonic plate border. I suppose the closest one is whatever, the Eurasian plate with whatever the one Iceland's on as well. I can't remember. It's probably Eurasian or like American something plate. Does that make sense? Geographically, maybe. I don't know, it's the stuff we learned back in geography, and I can't really record it off the top of my head all that well, so you're going to have to just sort of deal with my subpar geography knowledge about tectonic shifts and that sort of thing. But yeah, so unsurprisingly, don't have much experience with any sort of volcanoes or earthquakes. So we did actually have an earthquake when I was much younger, in England that is, except for it was a very, very tiny earthquake. If you're in a place which constantly gets earthquakes, you'll scoff at it because it was like magnitude like 4 or something. And I slept for it. It happened in the morning, apparently. I remember my family telling me about it. I was just like, oh, everything's shaking for a little bit. But, you know, me, being the 6-year-old I was or whatever, slept entirely through it. Didn't even notice. Heard about it when people talked about it the next day, and I was like, oh. You know, because when you're younger, you don't really have a good sort of understanding of these sort of natural disasters and events. You're just like, oh, it's a big climactic event. You're sort of like, oh, I wish I was awake. I wish I was like a participant in that sort of thing. I wish I knew what was going on. But now I'm older, I'm much more wise about that sort of thing. I don't want to be in an earthquake. I don't want to be near a volcano eruption. I don't want to be near any sort of natural disaster. I think that's a pretty reasonable sort of human response to that sort of thing. Now that, especially I'm older, and you know, and I guess I've got geography to credit for that, as now I understand the effects of these natural disasters much better, and don't want to ever be caught in one if I can help it. But you know, those aren't really the sort of things you can predict, and my heart goes out to those. Well, I mean, I suppose my words are a bit meaningless in the end, but my condolences to those of you who have to deal with them on a rather frequent basis. I suppose it's not particularly easy to deal with, and it's not particularly fun, I can imagine. But yeah, I mean, I suppose there's always very interesting case studies you can do about that sort of thing, because we did volcano like eruptions as case studies. There's a big part in geography is that you study both the physical side and the human side, at least in GCSE, which I can't say it's necessarily the best illustration of what geography is studying like, especially in high levels. But okay, one more of each. Do we have enough inventory space? No. Get rid of, I don't know, horse mackerel. Get out of here. One more fish, one more bug. Yeah, maybe not the best illustration of that sort of thing, but you know, it's kind of eye-opening, I suppose, is probably the best way to put it. Like we studied, what did we study? I think we studied Eyjafjallajökull, the Iceland one. I can't remember much about it. I mean, it had an impact on us, I remember, in Europe, because that was the one which sent up like huge ash clouds up into the air and like grounded all planes for a huge amount of time. Like it didn't personally affect me or my family because I don't think we were on holiday. And then we might have been on holiday like around that time, but we might have like come back like a couple of weeks earlier. But then some like not some family, was it family friends or was it like my mother's colleagues? I can't remember. Went off to a trip somewhere and they were like grounded for like 3 weeks or something, and I can't remember where they went. It might have been Iceland actually, or maybe it was like Greece or something, because of just giant ash clouds over Europe being like, oh, quite difficult to fly through them when you can't exactly see where you're going. Which you know, I suppose if you're a pilot novice, or basically someone who knows nothing about flying, like me, and you're that young, you'd be like, oh, no, you sort of question, why is it a big deal? Like, I understand it's a big deal that you can't see what you're doing, but also simultaneously, what are you going to crash into when you're up in the air? I guess other planes. Isn't that what radar's for? Probably you shouldn't be relying on radar alone. And also, I'd imagine the suit can get, the ash can get into the engine and really sort of mess things up in there and cause a lot of turmoil, which you probably don't really want when you're like thousands of feet up in the air, trying to safely land in a different country, holding like hundreds of people along with the airline carrier with you. So, you know, fair enough. Let us keep the cicadas for now, because I can't remember which ones we have and which ones we don't. I think we got a robust one. We might have a giant one as well. I don't quite recall. These I don't remember either. Pufferfish, I'm pretty sure we have enough. Okay, then that's a good bit of thinking. But yeah, we do a case study about that and the impacts of that sort of thing. And I suppose that one felt a lot more real because it's sort of just like, oh yeah, you know, we kind of knew about the effects of that one, you know. The most notable one for us being in a completely different country, it was just like, oh yeah, we couldn't fly anywhere, I suppose. Lots of people were grounded and everyone had a friend or family member who was like, oh, they're trapped in this country because they can't get anywhere. So yeah, no credit to geography. We also studied Mount St. Helens, I believe, in America. Where in America? I don't know. Is it in Yellowstone? Is it in Yellowstone? I don't even know where Yellowstone is in America, to be honest. But or at least I used to know. I don't remember off the top of my head. we studied it. I cannot remember anything about the case study for that sort of thing. The ones which stick in my head are ones like floods and like gentrification and amelioration of like forests and that sort of thing. Volcanoes was always a very interesting one, isn't it? Because I feel like, especially when you're younger, you learn about Pompeii erupting, however many thousands of years ago it has been now. Wait, let me think. Ancient Romans, is that around like the 50 AD or something? So my historical timescale is all messed up because I basically have no idea. my interest in history ain't that good. Like I like hearing about what happens, but then it's like, oh, you want to remember the date it happened? And I'm like, my brain's like, whatever. If it's something you can easily Google, no need to remember it, you know? My brain remembers the analysis of the evidence, or that sort of thing, about like opinions, have a time, and general public consensus, maybe, about the choices done, but does it remember the exact dates? Nah. And that's a sort of wishy-washy way to try and make myself sound a lot better than I actually am, I suppose. So I don't really remember much about volcanoes. I'm trying to remember. Okay, what do I remember about volcanoes? I know there's 4 different types of tectonic plates. There's destructive, where one tectonic plate goes underneath the other one, and it pulls the other one down, I suppose, at the same time, and it builds up a lot of pressure. I think that's not the one which causes many volcanoes, although it can, because it causes, I suppose, it to buckle up a little bit and shove upwards. But I think that's the one that causes more earthquakes when like all the built up pressure gets released or something from that destructive plate boundary. And it like kicks up and it starts a tidal wave as well. You got constructive tectonic plate boundaries. I believe this is the one with volcanoes because the plates move apart and then like lava or magma, I suppose, at that time starts coming up and then forming volcanic rock as it sort of cools against the water of the ocean, something like that. And that's why there's like hot spots and that sort of thing, because it's like the plates moving away, showing the hot magma and stuff underneath. You got, I can't remember what this one's called, but it's when they can like collide into each other and start like spreading out and crushing into each other, rather than one being crushed underneath the other. Is that like converse or something? That's not quite right. I mean, you got the other one where it's just like they move like side to side, like what was it called? Translation? That doesn't make sense. Transverse? That sounds reasonable. And that just causes like smaller earthquakes or something like that. It's my geography knowledge. Why do we have a slingshot down here? What? Clear favorite? Favorite? Is it because we customize it? Oh, interesting. Now we know that when we customize it, it basically loads up a whole new instance of a tool and puts it back into our inventory. How very intriguing, is it not? You might not find that very intriguing, and that's kind of fair enough. I guess it kind of isn't. Okay, well, I mean, we don't have an axe, so we need to go get an axe. We need to go make an axe. I'll make a door. We don't know who our visitor... Oh no, Leif is our visitor, isn't he? It's all good. I think there's other tectonic plates, and... I mean, maybe you can get volcanoes in all of them. I just only remember how volcanoes form in the constructive tectonic plate boundaries. Hold on, let's see what the other one's called. I feel like it starts with C as well, but I don't know how. Tectonic plate boundaries. Types. A divergent, convergent, transform. Really? I thought it was destructive, constructive. Oh, maybe not. Or maybe it's called something different in UK. Also, they've only got 3 here, we don't have a 4th one. Maybe my geography textbook was just wrong. I really thought it was called constructive plate boundary. What's called constructive here? Conservative! That's the one where they're just going across each other. That's not translative. Plate boundaries. Here we go. Key stage 3. Yeah, it is called destructive in the UK. Weird. Well, not weird that it's called that, but weird that there's not like a internationally agreed standard. Collision. That's it. Constructive and conservative. That's right. Yeah, so constructive is where volcanoes formed. Oh, you can form volcano ones in destructive as well. Okay, fair enough. Doesn't matter, but my volcano knowledge is not very good. You know what my only memory with volcanoes is from when I was very young? Is my parents would, I suppose, they had like these flashcards, I suppose, with words on, that sort of thing. I had like a picture of a thing, you can spell it, so it'd be like cat, dog. Or actually, probably a bit more complicated. Right? I probably had things like, I don't know, what's a sufficiently long enough word? Like maybe 6 other long words or something, like horse, that's 5. I can't think of something like beach, something like those sort of words. You know, because I was like, I don't know, 5, 4. So a little bit of a step up from cat and dog. And those sort of days. A dace. What day? Riverfish? I think a riverfish. Oh, we should have seen what the hot item was, to be honest. So we could have constructed it. Oh well. If only you could see it from your phone, that'd be considerably more convenient, and also never going to happen. Because that's a convenient feature, which I want in Animal Crossing. Yeah, these flashcards, and I remember one of them was volcano. And for some reason, I don't know, I just decided how to learn how to spell volcano. For why? I honestly couldn't tell you, and I don't even know how I got my hands on it while they were simultaneously, my parents were simultaneously trying to teach me at the same time. So they were like, they showed a volcano. It was like, oh, how do you spell this? And I spelled it, and they were like, what? You know how to spell volcano? I don't even know if I even had a concept of what a volcano is, but I remember the picture on it just being like a very simple cartoon-looking volcano. So perhaps I did. At least it seemed familiar to me. So yeah, that was how I, for some reason, learned how to spell volcano when I was very young. I don't even remember if I spelled it correctly or not. Maybe we're just surprised that I gave it a good attempt. It's like, whoa, that was like almost close. Can you imagine that? That'd be quite funny. Yeah, let's put the stuff away, why don't we? And I guess we'll put the cicadas away then. We'll put these insects away then. We'll take them out again, I suppose, if we got more than 3. Because we've definitely got one of the cicada things already. I just can't remember which ones. Oh, maybe we didn't. Maybe it was a robust one. We just haven't given it in yet. Oh, we don't need all of these. That's a bit too many. For some reason I didn't think we had those already. Seems good. Alright. We can sell everything else in our inventory. Catfish model. Let's not sell that. And put this back away in our storage. That seems good. Actually, I have another memory about volcanoes and earthquakes. I did not mean to go upstairs. Haven't been up here for ages. It was, let me think, it was in year 3? Year 2, year 1, one of those years, or something. So, age range somewhere from 5 to 9, I guess. That sounds too young. Must have been year 3, year 4-ish. You know, I think it was year, maybe, no, was it year 4? Something's telling me it was year 1, but that seems too young. What are we doing? Nook Marmish and mice. Oh, chopping down some trees. Deep sea creature. Okay. I know it was a take-home homework, and it was about earthquakes and volcanoes. The take-home homework was like, draw one of these earthquakes. And then I remember them. One of them, and they had like 3 options to choose from, all written in like word art sort of font, with text shaking to make it look more exciting. One of them was Pompeii. One of them was Kobe, and one of them was Vesuvius. And the eagle-eared, I suppose, among you might be like, hey, hold on, Pompeii and Vesuvius were both volcano eruptions, weren't they? Not earthquakes. And you are right. The only one on that, which was a volcano, an earthquake, cataclysmic event, was the Kobe earthquake in Japan back in, I don't know, 2001? Is that right? Maybe 2000, somewhere around there. Hold on, this is sort of a Google it question. Kobe earthquake. 1995, exactly as I said. 2001. No, 1995 apparently. And that very much confused me because I remember Googling these. I remember I struggled a lot with this homework because I Googled Pompeii and it was just like, it gave me stuff about volcano. I was like, huh? And then I Googled Kobe and then it only came up with Kobe Bryant. Instead of anything to do with the earthquake. You might be like, why didn't you search Kobe earthquake? And you know, I guess that didn't really occur to me in my like 6-year-old child brain. We haven't had that lesson about how to Google search things yet, so maybe that's why. So that was quite confusing. This must be a crab. Whoa, never mind. It's a big-ass giant clam. And then I searched Vesuvius, and I was like, this is also a volcano. So I was like, as far as I'm concerned, none of these are earthquakes. And now I think about it, I'm thinking back to that lesson, thinking back to that homework assignment. How the heck do you draw an earthquake? Like what I ended up doing is I think I drew Mount Vesuvius. I just drew a giant volcano erupting, I suppose. But how did the teacher expect us to draw an earthquake? How are we going to represent an earthquake with drawings? I guess we just sort of like show a destroyed building. That seems a bit sort of like in poor taste. Hold on, another memory just came to mind. That seems a bit in poor taste. You show the ground shaking, I guess. That sounds just weird, hard to depict, and I don't know. But, you know, the teacher did apologise, and then she was actually a pretty good teacher from what I remember. She was like, apologise, class. But there's not actually. Only one of those was an earthquake, so, you know, if you drew a volcano, we'll accept it as well. And it was meant to say volcanoes and earthquakes, but for some reason it was only earthquakes. You know, give her a pass, but, you know, young me was just like, I can't believe it. All that time wasted on that homework. And there is not really time wasted, because here you go. It's one of the things I still remember, at least. It's better than about 90% of other school curriculum activities, which I didn't end up pursuing to higher education. But yeah, it's a bit of in poor taste, I suppose, to draw an earthquake, isn't it? Especially quite a recent one. Like, why is it Pompeii and Vesuvius, both very, very old cataclysmic events in COVID, which happened within our lifetime? Well, actually not within my lifetime, there's a couple of years before me, but within that sort of period. Seems a bit strange, doesn't it? But anyway, as I was saying, it's in poor taste. It was completely irrelevant to volcanoes and earthquakes, but I remember we did a lesson on, who was it on? Florence Nightingale or something? I can't remember. Some famous woman in history around that sort of time period. I think it was Florence Nightingale, but I can't quite recall. And we were just like doing stuff, and like we could draw different stuff about her, about like her life, and that was one of our assignments. And then we drew something. I can't remember what I drew, or what it was like. And I think for some reason we were using tracing paper. Maybe it's like we were drawing her and we were using tracing paper to do it. And then I did it, and then the teacher was like, oh, you can draw something else about her. Why didn't you draw like her house or something like that? And I was like, no. And I like pointed to the textbook that we were all like a little bit like with a few pages that she printed out for us to read about it. I was like, I want to draw her grave. And I remember the teacher was really nice about it. She was like, oh, that's a bit it's like, are you sure you want to do that? It seems a bit sad. And I was like, yeah, I want to draw her grave. So, you know, and that's what I did. I took that tracing paper out, I traced over her grave. You know, you did a thing, you trace it down, you flip it over, and then you get like a crayon and you colour them back to imprint it onto a piece of paper to make it look like you actually drew it yourself, despite the fact you didn't. And then, you know, me doing that, a load of other kids were like, hey, I want to draw her grave as well. This poor teacher just like spanned by me, which I apologise for. It was like, instead of a load of kids learning about like, ooh, you know, Florence Nightingale, this achievements, this is a house she lived in, this is like her family members or that sort of thing, and this is like a hospital she worked in. It's like, oh, you know, all the kids are now just drawing her grave for no apparent reason. I mean, that's a thing that she has to put up on the wall for that board display. Why? You know, teachers, bless them, got, especially primary school teachers, they got a lot of patience having to put up with all that sort of nonsense, eh? But yeah, sorry, nothing to do with volcanoes, nothing to do with earthquakes or anything like that. But yeah, volcanoes, pretty cool things, huh? Lots of different types of volcanoes are there. There's active volcanoes, there's dormant, there's another type of volcano. There's one where it's like they think it's gonna erupt, but it's not dormant. Hold on, but it's not called active. Active, dormant. Oh, extinct volcano, dormant, erupting, active, erupting, dormant, and extinct. Okay, never mind. Apparently I just remembered them wrong. These terms are poorly defined. Hold on, divergent plate boundaries. Is it sometimes known as, also known as constructive? Fair enough. There we go. Oh, that's a bit confusing, isn't it? Divergent is constructive, but destructive is convergent. Why, UK system? Why do we have to have it backwards compared to everyone else, huh? Probably, maybe it's not just us, I don't know. Volcanoes, yeah, I don't know. Kind of cool. Have I seen a volcano erupting? No. Do I ever hope to? Not really. Seems a bit kind of scary, if anything, especially if you're kind of close to it, right? That's kind of not a situation that I don't think anyone really wants to find himself in. And if you find yourself in that situation, then, you know, I wish you the best. That's really all I can say to that sort of thing. We have like too many fish statues. I guess we can put a catfish here. At least a catfish looks kind of cool, so it's kind of cool to put it around here. Kind of want to move it over here. Oh yeah, it's like on the corner of a path. Oh, that's actually kind of annoying. But it looks a lot nicer being on the corner. But there you go. A little bit of a catfish there. We can't stop. No, we won't stop. Okay, let's wait, who's our visitor? It must be Gulliver or something. No, it's Leif. We've seen Leif already. I forgot. Let's go create our hot item for today and get changed. And I think that's all we need to do today, really. Yeah, no, I don't really remember all that much about volcanoes, apart from the few geography lessons we had studying those sort of case studies. And I suppose those case studies didn't really last in my mind all that long, so much of that in the end. But in theory, it's very, very educational. Oh, okay, we're not making those. Those require precious resources, which I'm not willing to give up. So we'll just go get the Nook ticket mission instead. Actually, probably the better one to get, if anything. But let's clear out our inventory. Perhaps buy some wrapping paper and... actually, no, we can just buy some wrapping paper when we need to. Don't need to do it yet. Keep that there. Sell all this. I know, but I guess volcanoes are kind of cool. Which isn't all that surprising. They look cool. Despite being very dangerous, I suppose, natural objects of the environment. Very dangerous. Things you don't want to play around with or play near. Very scary, aren't they? And cataclysmic events could just be fractions away from happening. I mean, I suppose that's what the whole of Yellowstone is. Wait, what state's Yellowstone in? I should know this. Yellowstone. What state is it? No, I don't want Yellowstone in the UK. What? Are you crazy? Yellowstone state. Wyoming. Largely in Wyoming, extending over into Montana. Where's Wyoming? Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. Oh, it's actually in the west of America. For some reason I thought it was in the east. I don't know why. Well, you know, this is sort of good information to keep in mind. What are we doing? Redeem Nook Miles. You might say, how do you not know this? I apologise, my American geography has never been all that great, and also I have never needed it, if anything. Just sort of, I just don't need it, to be honest. It's not been particularly relevant to me. I know some things like Maine is it most northern or is it most eastern state? And then the most northern, western, and southern state for some reason is like Alaska somehow, because of like weird territories or something. I don't know. This is something strange like that. I mean, I guess we could check out Nook Shopping. Do we have any more like seasonal event items? No, in fact, none. Alright then. Yeah, no, volcanoes, cool, scary. What's next? You decide. Should we just wrap this episode off here then? I don't really know what else to say to that. It's just, you know, volcanoes are kind of wild. They're kind of crazy. Destructive forces of nature. Which would be cool if they weren't so destructive, I suppose. But anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord. Follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.